What is up, everyone? We are back in the fish room. Whoop woo! Don't know what that was for. So welcome back to the fish room. Now several of you will be happy that a local shop to me has finally got Chilli Rasboras in. We've had a few turn up in the Taunton store that haven't been proper chilies, so there's 3 different species. They do unfortunately sometimes come in as each other, and the others don't get as red. We have been waiting for the chilies. So I'm hoping, from what I've been told, they've got chilies. So we've got to get a tank scaped for them. So we're back in the fish room. Now I'm thinking, so I've got a 60, a 90, and a 60 cube, I think it is. Now I'm thinking the 60 cube is going to be good. I've got this massive piece of like wood in there, but I don't think that's really what I want to go for. It looks like a dragon's head, I think. You see that? Like a big dragon's head. I don't think, as much as it works in there, that's not really what I've got in mind for them. So I'm going to ditch that, and we're going to go for a really simple, super easy nanoscape. You know, we don't need thousands of plants. We don't need lots of expensive rocks and wood. I like doing that, don't get me wrong. I've got, you know, a lot of collections of different expensive bits and pieces, but I want to do like a super simple one, super simple nano tank, so that people who want to get into the hobby can do without breaking the bank, and also with less fish. You know, you don't need to pack the fish in. So I think we're going to go for a small group of chilies, maybe something else to go with them. Obviously, I've done pygmy cories in the glass tetra tank, which you can go and watch if you haven't gone and watched it already. I don't think I'm going to go pygmy cories. I've got to find something else to go in with them, but that'll be another problem later on once this tank's up. So, well, I think there's nothing else to say. Let's get on and let's get the hardscape in. I've got about an hour and a half before I need to go, if that actually, probably less than that. So this hardscape's got to be quick, and what I've got in mind probably isn't quick. So let's see how we get on. Like I said, we're going to be going for the Scape Cube 60. So this is a really nice sized tank. It's got a good amount of space in it. I think it's going to be nice for a little group of Chilli Rasboras. Obviously these tanks come with an over tank luminaire, which is a superfish light. These lights are brilliant. They're really good at growing plants. You know, they are super, super bright. So I'm really chuffed that we're going to be using that one. And then we've got the little hang on the back superfish filter with a surface skimmer. So that should provide ample flow for these fish, because they're not majorly sort of flow orientated fish. Now, it's famous last words, but I don't think we're going to put a massive amount of plants in here. We've already got a black background on the tanks, so that'll set it off quite nicely. So what we're going to do for the plants is I've got this old bag of plant substrate. This is just fluval stratum, now full of water, lovely. What we're going to do is I'm just going to put that in the back. I used that in underneath a plant grow out tank a little while ago, so it didn't get that much use. Now I'm thinking central volcano sort of style scape in this tank. So I think if we have that bag there, we can build up around it and use that plant substrate as our sort of base. Again, it's not going to be massively planted, but what we're going to do is we've got some of these Oasis Nutri caps. So we're just going to put a few of them in, dotted around it. Again, just in case I plant more as time goes on. My plan is for just a few little plants, but you never know. So we're just going to place them around the perimeter of that bag, just to give them a few nutrients if they want them. I might actually even do one. No, the rocks are going on top, so we're not going to do one on top. So yeah, that should be enough substrate and enough nutrients to get the plants growing. Now, sand-wise, I've got this really nice, like, whitish riverbed sand. It has got some gravel mixed into it. I can't remember what this is left over from. So we're just going to use all of that. Now I am going to mix some other colours through this in a bit. You can already see there's a few little bits of gravel mixed in, but I need it way higher at the back. Just because I want to build, or do I actually? I've already set aside some stones for this. No, I do need a bit more sand, so let's mix some other sands in. So I want to keep this quite neutral. I did have some orange sand, but I think that's going to be too bright. So this sand is going to be really dusty, but we'll darken it up a little bit and give it a few other tones, which is what we're sort of looking for, really. Give it that natural riverbed vibe. Oh my word, this stuff is dusty, isn't it? So that's our sand layer in. I think it's going to be deep enough. Once I get the rocks in there, I'll be able to tell. Now what I'm thinking is I've got some really cool scatter gravel, which I just actually poured all over the floor because I didn't realise I'd opened it. But I think that will set it off nicely. Once the big rocks are in there, I think that stuff will be, yeah, look quite good. Next step is to get our big rocks in there. Like I say, we're going to keep this simple. Rock, rock, rock. Now these are the rocks we're going to use. So these are just Scottish cobbles. So I bought these, I think, from the garden centre, actually. You don't need them to be particularly sort of from an aquatic store. A lot of aquatic shops do sell them. So yeah, we're going to get these in. It looks like a lot of rocks for that small tank, but I think it's going to work. Right, so like I said, we're going for sort of a pebbly volcano, sort of middle island sort of composition. Now, I don't know if you can see, this rock here has this sort of funny divot in it there. So I'm thinking that's his face that's going to show up, and then another rock will sit into that gap. I don't know if that's high enough. It probably is high enough, if I'm being honest. Or do we want to go higher? Yeah, we need to go higher. We definitely need to go higher. I'm going to move that rock out the way. Let's move him to the front. And let's pour the rest of that sand in. There's not much, but there's a little bit. There we go. All that lovely dust. Right, let's just smooth that out a bit. Bring it up into the centre. I want him to sit on like a plateau. And what I can do is I can put some other pebbles around him to hold him up. Right, let's try again. Yeah, that's more what I was thinking. A little bit more raised. Bring some pebbles into this side. I think that'll be cool. Right, let's get a couple more in. No, that one needs to come out. He is not the right rock for this job. Just as I was ready to give up, he sort of sits like that. I was just ready to prop him up with another pebble, but he actually sits really well. So he stands there, and then that one sort of slots in beside him. Like that. I've just got to prop him up a little bit at the back. But that is the sort of idea I had with these sort of standing pebbles. And then I'm going to have some root trailing down over them. Yeah, I think that's cool. Not sure about this big boy in the front yet. So you don't need to overcomplicate this stuff. That is like 4 stones. Yeah, it's not super aquascapey as it were, but it's going to look good and I'm going to like it. That's the key. And then we've just got a few of these other cobbles that we'll place around. I like these ones that have got like a broken bottom to them, because you can sink them into the sand and it sort of makes them look a little bit like they're sort of buried and they're emerging. I'm getting Pride Rock vibes from it at the moment, but yeah, I think that's going to look good. So some of you might stop there. I'm just going to add a few of these like little pebbles. Again, it just sort of brings out different areas and it just makes it look a little bit more riverbeddy for them. And I'm going to smash the glass in the process, hopefully not. So if I like that one there, he doesn't need to be up there. I think that's enough. And then a little bit of scatter stone. So you can see there's like greys and greens and browns on the floor. But yeah, I'm just going to, again, sort of brings it up. And I think that's what I say to people. Don't worry about the aquascaping element. Don't worry about it, you know, being perfect to start off with. You've got to play around with it. I think the one mistake a lot of people make is that they don't put enough into it. They don't put enough stone into it. Like, this is a small tank, and those 4 or 5 rocks that have gone in there, the big boys, they look insane when they're out of the tank, but actually when they're in, it sort of works. So you could get some plants in now if you wanted to. You could literally leave it here, you know. I think this is quite a cool thing. Maybe a beginner's, an intermediate, and like an advanced sort of level. If you want to stop here with the rocks, you're done. Like, pop a plant in that gap there, maybe some small stuff around the front if you want, another pop of plant there, and then something taller in behind. And that's a cool tank, you know, and you've not broken the bank. Like I say, there's probably, I don't know, 20 pounds worth of rocks in there, if that. And you've got a cool scape out of it. But you know I can't leave it there. So I have got some of this Talawa wood, which I quite like. Now my thoughts, I'm going to break a lot of it up because it doesn't really fit at the moment. But my thoughts, hang on that branch. Seems mad to buy a 20 or 30 pound piece of wood and then start breaking it up. But my thoughts is to start bringing them over and around the rocks and to glue it in and to try and make some sort of tree stump vibe sort of thing going on. I have got some that had in another tank, so they're already wet. I've just been soaking them, and I've got a couple of dry ones. So I'm going to have a bit of a play and see if I can get this to look right. It might look awful, and I might not go with the sticks, but I reckon we can make it work. I am really liking that, like proper, like a root has grown over. The only thing I'm not liking, actually, let me take you off the tripod and I can show you. So the only thing I'm not liking is these sort of sticks up here where they sort of just abruptly end. Everything else, the way that it all sort of cascades down over, but I don't know what to do with that top bit. Obviously, once it's got moss, maybe I could put some moss up there and hide it with some moss, but yeah. But that's the simplest way to do it. Buy like half a dozen branches, just snap them up into bits. Obviously, I'm going to have to glue this, so there's several gluing points I'm going to have to glue to keep all this in one place. But I think it's going to be okay. And obviously, they'll all go a similar colour. There'll be some light ones and some dark ones, because I've used some dry ones. So I think that's going to look cool. What can I hide that with? I wonder if I've got a bit of corbo. Hang on, I'm going to have a look. Right, we might be onto a winner. I have just found some structure wood from Hugo Kamishi. And I'm wondering, I know it's got a flat top, so it's even more flat, but I am wondering if I can wedge that in on top. Obviously, I'll take the label off. How's it going to fit? If that will sit on top of that wood. Oh! 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 Oh, that is solid. I know you can still see this one, but I can chew that one up in a minute with like a pair of pliers or a pair of cutters or something. But that, I think, just ties it all in. It's sort of sat on top of that rock. It's like the rock's got a hat. All those little crevices and nooks and crannies that the Rasboras are going to get in are going to look amazing. Yeah, I think we're going to keep that. Because then I can put some moss or maybe like a little plant or something on top of it to disguise the top. And we're golden. Right, I've got this meeting to go to. So the next time you see this tank, it will probably be dark outside and yeah, hopefully I'm going to get the gluing done. I am back. So when I said it was a meeting, it was actually a meeting with Jono and Ruby from NT Labs. You probably saw them in some of my videos, or maybe that old scape video I'd done over at NT Labs office. Anyway, the reason I needed to speak to them is because we spoke about doing a giveaway a little while ago. And we've just organised all the stuff that we're going to put into the giveaway. That was what the phone call was about, so well excited for this. It's the first one on my channel. Didn't even think this was going to be a thing like a year and a half ago. How cool is this? So we are going to pick someone to win this package of stuff from NT Labs. So we've got like all the tweezers and the scissors and the sculpting tool, the like Reiki thing. I don't know where mine is. Oh, it's in my bag over there. And then we've got loads of foods on there. We've got the liquid plant food and liquid CO2. We've got a test kit in there. Yeah. Oh, the algae sponges. The algae sponges and the spring brush and things like that from their cleaning range. It's like just around 200 quid or just under £200 worth of stuff that you can win. So like a proper like cool care package from NT Labs. So yeah, we're going to launch it as of pretty much when this video gets released, I suppose. But go over onto my socials. You'll see all the details for it there. It'll be in a pinned post on the top of my socials. But what you'll need to do is you'll need to go over to the NT Labs pages on Facebook and Instagram. Like, follow, comment on the post with it in. All the info will be on there. But yeah, it's going to be great. I'm looking forward to like getting one of you guys this whole care package of stuff. That's it. Just follow the instructions on the post. I'm sure we'll write something up that will be on the post. Watch out on my channel as well, because obviously I'll be putting links to it so that you can go over there and like it. But yeah, like I say, hopefully next week the competition should be live. As soon as it is, I'll post it onto my socials, and then yeah, you can try and win this awesome bag of goodies. Obviously, remember, people do try and scam people. You will only get a message from the legitimate NT Lads page or my page. You will not be getting messages from some random page, so be very careful. Don't reply to anything, and make sure you click on the profile to see that it is the legitimate page messaging you. Is that everything? I think so. I've got to do a ton of gluing, and then I've got to go pick up Quinn. So it's getting dark outside. I'm going to get the gluing done, and then we're going to be good, I think. I'm really liking how this is turning out. The other thing I found downstairs, I'm going to be able to see it, but that is from when I done the ecosystem bowl. And I don't like throwing things away. And so I'm thinking a lot of these little strands of root can be glued in. Maybe not that one, because that one's like really bendy. Maybe that will go around that rocklet. And it will just add more texture. Again, you don't have to go this far. I'm just going this far because I've got the time and the inclination on this scape to do it. Sometimes, like I say, the pebbles looked good on their own. You could have just kept it as that. A few nice plants in there, job done. We're going further. The one other thing I've got to do, can you see it? Oh, you can't really. But yeah, I'm just going to chew these tops of these roots off with a pair of secateurs that I brought up that I've now misplaced. So yeah, commence the cutting and gluing, and yeah, I think we're good then. That is all the gluing done. I've added loads of these little like tendrily bits. So they're like the sort of smaller roots that are coming off. Added tons of them sort of growing all over it. So it just looks really natural. This rock is to stop this bit of wood moving. Because I'm pretty sure I've glued it, but it's still a little bit delicate. But we're gonna let all the glue set. For anyone wanting to know, it is just literally cyanoacrylate glue. You've got loads of different scapers glues out there, and you can use the Gorilla Glue, the gel one as well. But yeah, just a load of that on each bit of branch, and that's all going to hold it down. It might be tonight I get this filled up, but it might be tomorrow. It ended up being tomorrow. So today. So tomorrow from the last bit I filmed. Anyway, we're done. Everything's glued, everything's in place. I did just knock a few twigs off because, you know, like you can't leave things alone. So I was like, just checking and knocked a few twigs off, but I'm really happy with how it has come out. What I want to do, actually, let me bring you closer. So what I don't want to do is I don't want to lose this sort of structure. I want to keep all that visible. So I'm thinking a few little Bucephalandra, actually, like instead of Anubias nana bonsai, which I'd normally use, I reckon some little buces just dotted in amongst. Then in this back section here and over here, I'm thinking like big green Java fern, pow. So that it just literally sort of puts a green background to this scape, I suppose. And then maybe a few foreground plants dotted in amongst, but I want to try and keep the sand area free and just a bit more like riverbeddy. So yeah, I think that would be cool. We're probably going to have to get like a sacrificial rock or piece of bogwood to sort of prop the Java ferns on. I'm just looking around the fish room to see what I've got. Oh, breaker tank. See there, look at that. It will float, but that piece there, oh, hang on, that piece there would be perfect because I could tie a couple of Java ferns, hide that in behind, and yeah, that would work a treat. Maybe I'll use some rocks actually, because then I don't have to destroy a nice bit of bogwood. It's the only problem, the bits of bogwood I've got are all bits that I've picked up because I like them. Before we commence planting, actually, we need to prep the plants. So we've got a couple of really nice Java ferns. So we've got the standard, well, they're not standard, they're the green version. So I think they're just like a bit more of a lime sort of green colour, which is quite nice. So we've got a couple of them. I've got 3, I've got another one downstairs, but not sure I'll need 3. We have then got the Windelov version, which is just a sort of, what do you call it? Like split leaf? I don't know what you actually call that. It's not variegated because it's not white and green. But yeah, got a couple of those which may go in. And then we've got a load of Bucephalandra. So These are a little bit more expensive than your standard plants. Buces are a little bit rarer in the hobby, but you could easily change this out for something like a Nubius Nana Bonsai or a Nubius Nana, even if you've got a bigger tank. That way it'd sort of remain a little bit cheaper. But you can still pick buces up for a decent price. They're not massively expensive. So like normal, these have been growing on a while, so there is quite a lot of root to them. We're going to remove the pot. Try to not damage as many roots as we can. And then we're just going to take all of this rock wool off, just to get rid of that. Just means then we've not got any of this rubbish floating around the tank in a couple of months' time. Sometimes you'd use a fork if you've got loads of that rock wool stuck on there. You can use a fork as like almost a comb to comb it all out, but on that, that's perfect. So let's get all the other ones done as well. Plants are prepped, so yeah, Bucephalandras, we might need to get a few more out. We've got some Javas, Buces. Obviously the lighting's quite bright for these guys, so I'll probably maybe tape over one of the lights or get one of the controllers on air that you can get for these lights that dims it down, but I'll see how they do. It might be okay. If I get a good cleanup crew in it will probably be alright. The next step is to get all these glued onto rocks or wood or whatever we're going to use. Now all of these being epiphytes, they don't need to get their roots into the substrate. What I have found with doing a few tanks recently, even though they are epiphytes, where I've put the nutrient base in the bottom of the tank, they still get their roots into it and they still use up those nutrients and they do better. So yeah, even though I put a substrate system in and these are all epiphytes, it's still going to sort of help me. And the one other thing is I went into Maidenhead Taunton the other day and they had this in. Cryptocoryne Nurii. Now, I was like, it's just a crypt. Nothing too exciting. Then I Googled this. Google, if you are lying to me about what this looks like when it grows up, I'm going to be thoroughly disappointed. So what I'm thinking is, you can see a spot here, look, there, and maybe here, and then maybe here. We're going to put little sprigs of this crypt in there as well. Good thing is I can remove it later on when it's grown, but it just gives it somewhere to grow. Look at that root system. But yeah, that'll be cool because that'll get into the substrate system. Right, anyway, let's get gluing. Instead of gluing the Java ferns, I have just remembered I ordered these brown cable ties. So what I'm actually going to do is cable tie it. Do you remember that straight bit of wood that I had right at the start that I didn't like? This bit. So I've just put it in the tank and I've measured it that one Java fern needs to go about here and one Java fern needs to go about here. I can rest it in the back at that angle and in theory it should look perfect. I might have to glue this to a rock, but that's going to make life so much easier just by like dropping that stick in with the Java ferns on it. So let's just zip tie to that. That's worked really, really well. Like, perfect. That one can wedge in there, that can wedge in that side, and then hopefully that'll be all the Java ferns done. These twigs aren't that big, so it's not giving them that much growing room, but I don't mind because I reckon they're going to spread onto the rocks and the wood anyway. Actually, let's just cut those zip ties off. Just so they're a bit short. If I come like that, I can catch my hand on them. Lovely. And then that one. Right, let's glue everything else to rocks now and finish off the epiphytes. Now that we've got all the epiphytes zip tied, glued, stuck to everything, including our hands, it's a really simple case of just putting them in. That's why that's why I sort of called this a very simple, easy to do scape, because it is literally glue them or stick them to a pebble, like so, and then place them in. It's as simple as that. So let's place a few of these. Let's get the Java ferns that we zip tied to that bit of wood in first. They're looking really good. That's worked really well. That one's a bit loose, but we can deal with that. Actually, I might get rid of that filter. That'll just make life a little bit easier for getting these in. Let's have a look. Hopefully, it's sort of wedged down in here somewhere. And obviously they're all not stood up at the moment. Definitely haven't just dislodged that branch there from the glue. That's right, he's wedged quite well. I think that's it. I think it just sits there. Right, let's just get the rest of these epiphytes in now. Now it's time for the Cryptocoryne Nurii, or Nurii, or however you want to say it. There's actually like 5 or 6 plants in here, which is quite ideal because it means I can space them out a little bit more throughout the bottom of the aquarium. I will have to wash them off because they're in this in vitro sort of gel stuff, so I'm going to have to give them a rinse before putting them in, and then I can just pop them all around the base of this sort of scape and hopefully fill in those gaps. We are finished with the planting. I am well excited to how this is going to turn out. It's already looking good and it hasn't even got water in. So the next job is really just to get it filled with water. So yeah, we better get on with that. Then once we've got it filled, it's just the waiting game of letting it mature. We are back and the tank is looking good. No more of a peak than that, to be honest though. But you saw me probably in that you saw me add the tap water safe and the filter start just to get that sort of beneficial bacteria and the dechlorinator and everything getting in there. So all the water is safe. What I've also done is in the filter in the back, I actually put some of the media from some of my downstairs aquariums. So just some of the little ceramic hula hoop sort of looking things. I've popped a few of those in there. What was the other thing I done? I done a water change on the live bearer tank. And I'll be honest, that water went in there. It won't hold a great deal of beneficial bacteria, but it will hold something. So yeah, that tank is mature. I've tested it all up. Everything is looking good. So now it's time to get the fish. I've got to go on a bit of a road trip for this. It's not far, probably an hour maybe. But I've got to go to Maidenhead Aquatics at Cadbury, which is a little way away from me. But we're going to go there, have a look around, get the fish, and then get back and get them in the tank. This is probably one of my favourite scapes I've done so far. But then again, I keep saying this, it's probably because it's new and fresh and exciting, but I'm really liking this and I'm looking forward to seeing those little Rasboras in there. So anyway, let's go on. Let's go on the road and go and get some fish. We have arrived in the fish shop, haven't we? So we are here. Now this is where you enter the shop. The tank that's in front of us is amazing. Do you like it?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay, cool. Let's swing this around. Now, unfortunately, Cadbury Garden Centre play very loud music throughout their garden centres, so it was almost impossible to film without having some sort of music going on in the background. We're back from the fish shop. That was a horrendous drive. It was so wet. Like, that was possibly the worst day to arrive up there. But there were so many species that I could have picked up. I'm lucky that I've only got this tank sort of empty, as it were, because I could have, it could have been a very expensive day. But we've got our 2 species, so we're going to get them acclimatized. We're going to spend a bit of time sort of settling them down. The only thing is because they're a little bit further away than I'm normally buying fish from, their pH and their hardness levels are slightly higher than mine. Nothing major, but slightly. So I'm going to spend a little bit of time acclimatizing them. And then once they're sort of settled, we're going to get them in. And yeah, I'm super excited to see these guys swimming around in here. Right, all the fish are acclimatized now. They've been going for about an hour or so the pHs are all now measuring the same. So let's get these little Chilli Rasboras in. There's a little bit of Java moss in this net, so it's going to be a bit of Java moss as well. Oh, those guys are going to look so great. So we opted for a little group of 18 of them, so I think that's a nice little shoal to start off with. We can always increase it at a later date if we want to, or get some other bits in there. I think we've got space for it. That's great. I've just sorted the other bag of fish out and I can't see any of the Rasboras. I know, they're all right. They're all down in that bottom corner there. That's fine. So the second species we went for, well, I love my pygmy cories in the glass Tetra tank so much. I wanted to get a little species of sort of catfish in here. So what they had up there were these really cool Rosy Loaches. So they're quite a small little species, but I think they're going to sort of complement the orangey red coloration of the Rasboras really well. That's cool. Well, let's give them a bit of time to settle down, and then we'll come back and revisit them and see how they're doing. I'm really happy with how this turned out. Just the hardscape and the plants. Probably a few more plants than I was originally sort of thinking I was going to put in there. But the plan was to be able to see that hardscape coming down through with some sort of backdrop of plants. And that's what I've really achieved. The hardscape is still really prominent, so you can still see that sort of root and the rocks and things coming through. And the fish are just loving buzzing in and out of all the roots and the plants, which as they settle, you know, they've only been in there a few hours now, but as they settle and they get more colourful, they're going to look even better. I made a few little additions from the end of the video where I've sort of planted it to this point now, where I put some of this, now I'll get the pronunciation wrong, Süsswassertang? Süsswassertang. Everyone will call it Süsswassertang, but I know it's, well, it's a German spelling. So anyway, but yeah, I put some of this sort of thing in there. It's not a moss, it's probably more a fern than anything, but yeah, got that in there. I've never done very well with it, so we'll see how it does in here. If it spreads, cool. If it doesn't, it was only some cuttings that I managed to get hold of. The other thing I added to sort of disguise the top of the tree log was actually some hydrocotyle. Now that grows quite prolifically out of the water. I'm probably going to have to keep it pruned, but I'm hoping that will just sort of disguise that top area and maybe float out into the water and give a bit of shading to the underneath. I hope you enjoyed this. This is, like I say, probably one of the funnest ones I've worked on. I enjoyed making this one the most. I think messing around with the smaller roots and sort of getting that, I don't know, sort of finer details in, it just makes it a little bit more interesting. But yeah, I've really enjoyed this. I hope you did too. I've got plans for the other two tanks that you'll have seen throughout the video on either side, I think. Yeah, I think I've got plans for them. So yeah, watch this space on now. Once I've got a bit more time, we'll get those two set up. Then I need a bigger fish room because then it's full. Oh no! I've moved the, you can't see because it's underneath you. I've moved the, what they call the test tanks, the comparison tanks. I've moved them to just underneath where this camera's sat now. So I'm going to reset them up in probably, I don't know, a few weeks with some sort of different test. It'll obviously be a long-standing test, but we're going to do something. So yeah, watch this space for those as well. But anyway, I'm going to let these guys settle. I'm going to go and do some editing because this video needs to come out. So I'll see you in the next one.